This is the Highly Sensitive Club, episode number 43.
Have you been told you're too sensitive, too dramatic, or too much? Do you have big feelings and deep thoughts you don't always know what to do with? I'm Stephanie Linn, a certified life coach and highly sensitive person. I've helped dozens of highly sensitive clients feel more energized, more confident, and more in control of their high sensitivity. In these episodes, you'll get the information and inspiration to level up your life as a highly sensitive person too. Welcome to the Highly Sensitive Club.
Hey there, highly sensitive person, and welcome to this week's episode of the Highly Sensitive Club. I have been thinking about and processing this topic a lot lately, so I am really excited to share a little bit of wisdom as I'm moving down my path and seeing what my clients are doing so that it can help you figure out what's going on with your life and what works and what doesn't and keep moving forward. The topic for this week's episode is the winning formula between learning and taking action to succeed. The main thing that I want you to keep in mind about this week's episode is that there is no one right answer. You are the one with the privilege and the responsibility as well to do a little bit of experimentation and some trial and error and figure out what works for you in what balance. Learning plus action equals success. But in what degree? We can look at this kind of like a science experiment or making a recipe. When you have different ingredients that you're putting together, in order to find the right balance for you, you have to play around a little bit with the quantities of the ingredients. We're not talking baking here because almost always in baking, you must follow the recipe in order for the chemistry to work correctly. But when you're cooking, you can be more flexible. You can try things out and figure out how much of this seasoning do I want? Do I like the dried version or do I like the fresh version? Can I do canned or do I want to do frozen or do I only do fresh produce? Whatever that equation looks like for you, you have a very similar thing that happens when you're trying to make progress on your goals and you're figuring out what's the recipe that works for you as a highly sensitive person to get what you want. Now, here are both ends of the spectrum. Number one, as I have talked about in the procrastination episode and in a number of other episodes, the first thing that a lot of highly sensitive people do is spend all of their time in neutral doing a lot of preparation and procrastinating. If you're listening to this podcast, you are probably a lifelong learner. You love to grow. You love to develop yourself. You're probably reading a lot of books and always looking for ways to improve your life. I know this because I am that kind of person too. And when you are a lifelong learner and you love to learn things and you love to grow, you can spend a lot of time spinning your wheels trying to find the right answer, trying to figure out the exact right how so that you can optimize your actions, not waste any time, and feel like you're making forward without having to fail. This is when you get stuck in procrastinating and you spend all of your time looking for another certification, reading another book, reviewing a program that you have already gone over 2 or 3 or 4 times, thinking, I just need to learn more in order to be successful at this. This is a really common rule, and I found this for myself at a number of occasions as I was working through some thoughts about success and what that meant to me. I realized that I had this rule left over from childhood and early adulthood that the more I learn, the more successful I will be. This makes sense if you were taught, as I was, that education is very valuable. Now, I agree with this rule. I agree with this belief, but it tends to lead to this inherent thing where people like us might skip a step. Education is very important, but somewhere along the lines, I had created this formula or this narrative that the more I learn, the more successful I will be, and then I will make more money, get more clients, have a successful business, get the job I want, etc. And I forgot the little action step in between, which is the education leads to a traditional job with a salary, or the education leads to making decisions and taking action and using your education in order to build something. I completely missed the part where the success comes from taking action. Now, if this sounds like you and you are one of those people who feels like, I just need to know more, I just need to learn more, I don't have the right quote unquote solution yet, then you are probably following this old rule that the more you learn, the more successful you will be. And it is probably very confusing for you, as it was for me, when you don't have the success that you want. You can only learn so much before you need to start taking action in order to create the vision or the goal that you want to achieve. I love the idea of manifestation. I'm very woo-woo, but in a very practical sense, and I take this from my passive mentor, Denise Duffield Thomas, manifestation means to make real. And in order to make something real, you're not just wishful thinking. You're not just consuming information and taking in all this input and then it turns into some kind of magic and things just happen. Manifestation and making things real means taking action and making them real. You make them real, not the universe, not God, not source, whatever your spiritual beliefs are. It's you that has to channel what you're getting from your higher power in order to make it real. You will receive situations and you will receive opportunities that you can take advantage of, but you still have to meet it halfway. You have to take the action. You can't just sit in your comfort zone and safely consume more information and take another class or do another module and assume that you're going to have success. I definitely fell into this trap, and if this is you, there is hope for you. I also see my clients doing this all the time. When we talk about action steps, a lot of times they have self-reflection as an action step. Well, I just need to think about this new thought, or I need to write this 10 times, or I need to journal about this. And all of those things are powerful. I cannot tell you how many times I have made a huge epiphany or had a huge insight in the middle of writing my morning pages. However, that type of action is very passive and it's a loop. It's a closed cycle where you are reflecting on your own thoughts, which lead to more thoughts, which cause you to reflect on your thoughts. Active action means having a conversation, doing something that feels a little bit scary and outside of your comfort zone. It means making a decision. It means doing something that puts yourself out there and takes a little bit of a risk. So this could be making a post. It could be asking for help or support when you don't normally do that. There are lots and lots of ways to take action. But when you get caught trying to pick the right action, oftentimes you never get to that step. You will continue to cycle and you will continue to collect information, hoping that eventually you will reach this capacity. You will feel full. And at that point, then you can take action and you'll never have to fail. You will have all of the right answers and everything will go according to your plan. Unfortunately, this is not how life works. It may be one time out of 100 that you perfectly prepare for something, you execute it exactly as planned, and then it turns out exactly the way that you expected. Most of the time, however, you're going to take an action and it's not going to go the way that you think it will. This is where the experimentation and the trial and error comes in. This is a normal part of the process. If you keep yourself stalled in procrastinating, hoping to get to that 100% capacity before you make any moves, you are probably stuck. You are probably feeling confused. You are probably feeling overwhelmed, not knowing which action to take because you have way too many options and way too much information, and you're not taking any action at all because you're convinced that there's a particular way to do it. Now, this is problem number one, and I have a lot of clients who do this either at the beginning where they feel like I just need to know more in order to make steps, or I'm going to take this passive action where I'm not going to make a lot of headway, but it feels very safe and comfortable. On the flip side, I have lots of high achieving, highly sensitive clients, you may be one of them, who are very action oriented. You probably are one of those people who believes the more I do, the faster I get results. I just need to be more productive. I just need to be busier. I just need to fill my time. When you're taking actions without preparation and without thinking through them first, you tend to throw spaghetti at the wall or feel like you're shouting into the void, or you're just trying random things and you're not necessarily learning from them. This is one of those instances where you are probably spinning your wheels. You're taking a lot of action. You're doing a lot of busy work that feels very productive, but in the end, you're not moving any closer to your goal and you're not having the success that you want. This is what it looks like when you're answering a lot of emails. You are reaching out to people and having conversations, but they don't seem to be going anywhere. There's no agenda, and there's nothing that comes out of the conversation that moves you closer to what you want. This is very common if you try to hold yourself to a very strict schedule, and deviating from the schedule causes you a lot of stress and anxiety. Go back to my episode 41 from a couple weeks ago where you can hear about the productivity trap and how to get out of it. And this is one of those symptoms. You're taking too much action and you're not processing, you're not learning from your actions, and you're just doing things to feel like you're in motion, but you're basically spinning in place. Now, the way to balance both of these things is to do both. The ratio that you need is going to be completely individual to you, and it's going to be subject to your current season, what you need right now, and what you're working towards. A good place to work towards would be 50-50. taking 50% action and doing 50% learning and preparation ahead of the actions in order to take them purposefully and intentionally. Maybe you're doing 100% learning right now and 0% action. Maybe your next step is to do 90% learning and 10% action, or 80% learning and 20% action. Just getting a little bit of that momentum is really going to help you start to see progress. And the more little steps you can acknowledge along the way, the more you're going to see evidence that you're making progress, and you're going to want to do more and more of it. If your balance is the other way, you're 100% action, but you're doing 0% learning or preparation, then you want to do the opposite. 90% action and 10% learning and preparing. Or a great first step for you might be taking some time to evaluate after every single action. What worked, what didn't work, and what am I going to do differently this next time? You can take 300 actions and never learn from a single one, and you make the same mistake over and over and over again. Making a little bit of time to do some preparation, some reflection, and then to evaluate how it went, this can be a huge game changer for you. The ideal formula, I would say, is 50% learning and preparation plus 50% action and progress leads to success towards whatever your goal is, whether that's growing your business, whether it's having a better relationship with your parents or your kids or your partner or a friend, whether that's losing weight or feeling healthier in your body, feeling less pain, making more money, changing your relationship with time. Whatever your goal is, changing the ratio of your learning and actions to work more towards that 50-50 is going to help you so much, HSP. And I know that this can work both ways. Either you're stuck in rumination, you're over processing, you're overstimulated, which means you're overwhelming yourself and stressing yourself out, and you're not taking action. Or you're taking so much action and you're trying to move forward without slowing down because you're discounting the part of processing that you're also not moving forward. You're overstimulating yourself with the amount of actions, and you're frustrating yourself because your actions aren't leading anywhere. The key here, my dear highly sensitive person, is to try on a new belief that both of these things are equally important. If you are someone who values action, try on some thoughts like, it's possible that preparation would make my actions so much more effective, or a little bit of preparation would save me so much time. It could also be possible for you, if you're stuck in the learning side, to be able to say, maybe taking a little bit of action will help me get more data. It will help me get more information, and I will be able to make better steps. These little thoughts could get you a long way towards that big belief that learning and actions are both necessary to achieve your success. I have been on both sides of the spectrum, procrastinating and over preparing, and taking action without direction and without intention, and getting stuck on both sides. And it's only recently, as I have come up with this new thought that both preparation and action are really valuable toward the process, that I've been able to start making traction again and to start moving towards my goals. This comes up so much with my clients who fall on either side of the spectrum. If you are someone who takes a lot of action without preparation, you might want a little bit more calm or ease, or you want to be able to take time off and not feel guilty about it and not should all over yourself about all the things that you feel like you must do and that you're wasting your time if you're not doing them. And on the learning side, it has helped so many of my clients to have new thoughts like, every action gets me closer to my goal. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay for me to learn from my failures. Nothing is a waste of time as long as I'm learning. Try on some of these thoughts. How do they feel to you? Which one of these resonates with you? And which one do you want to take into your daily life? Do you identify as someone who procrastinates and doesn't take enough action? Or are you someone who takes too much action and doesn't have enough preparation and intention behind it? Whatever this scenario looks like for you in your current formula, you have the power to change it right now. As soon as you start to value the part of the equation that you're currently not focusing on and move towards that 50-50 split, the faster you'll be able to make progress. I know that this feels uncomfortable and it's very easy to fall back into old habits, but every time you start to fall back into those old habits of spinning your wheels on one side or the other, remember that both parts are necessary to get the success that you want. But on the other side, think about how good it's going to feel for you to get more clients, to have more ease in your day, to be able to take time off and take care of yourself and not feel guilty about it, to be able to make your environment exactly how you want it so that you're not overstimulated by clutter or other people's stuff or constantly giving away your space in order to make other people feel comfortable. Wouldn't it be great if you could just maintain your own environment and create beautiful boundaries and trust that other people are going to respect them and can spend time in other areas of your home or your environment? Wouldn't it feel incredible to know that you can have less pain, that you can take better care of your body and you can feel as strong as you want to, or as flexible as you want to, or just as healthy as you want to? Wouldn't it feel incredible to know that you are able to have as much money as you want? You can save it, you can spend it, you can earn it, you can give it away, you can do whatever you want with your money. Think about this in terms of your time. How incredible would it feel to know that you are using your time to the best of your abilities and that you are creating a schedule and you're creating memories that exactly work for you, who you are, your preferences, your tastes, your values, and your desires? How good could that feel? That's what this feels like, to be able to both learn and to take action to create the success in whatever area of your life that you want. My personal story about this is that I have been in a stage of taking a lot of action for a while. And my big life reset a couple of months ago from the car accident has made me see that I was flipped to the other side, where I was taking too much action and not doing enough evaluation and not letting myself learn. I had this belief in my head that I've already gone through coach training. I've already gone through a bunch of programs. I should just know what to do by now. So I'm just going to take action because I have to trust myself that I know what to do. I discovered that I love to learn. I'm inspired by learning new things. Sometimes when it feels like my well is dry, it's because I haven't learned something new recently, or I haven't gone back and even re-explored something that I got a lot of value from before, because I'm finding now that going back to the same things, I have a lot of new wisdom and insights and perspective that I didn't have the first time I explored it. So going to the things that I feel called to has really brought up a ton of inspiration. Learning has inspired me so much to share this information with you. And this thing that I've been percolating on in the background, I can suddenly turn into something useful for you because I gave myself permission to do some learning again. This was me coming from the too much action side. And I've also been on the side where I've thought I need to go through all of these lessons. I have 3 programs I want to do at once. And the more I bog myself down with lessons, the less likely I am to take the actions. In that case, the most important thing to remember is that every small action counts. Look for places in your life, because I have found this for myself, where you are discounting something and saying, well, it doesn't count because, or it's not as successful, or it's not as exciting as if this version happened. It all counts. Give yourself permission to get the C plus or even the B minus version. You don't have to do 100% in order to have full success. If it doesn't look exactly the way that you think it should, that doesn't mean it's not successful, and it doesn't mean that you're not making progress. There might be a little bit of reframing that you need to do for yourself in order to allow yourself to let things count in small doses. Going back to my learning and getting that new inspiration, I don't know if you can tell, but my energy is completely different this week because I'm excited to share this with you. And here's the big insight that I have. I had this thought that I need to have the perfect words to talk about high sensitivity and how I help people in order to work with people and collaborate together to create the lives that they want. And then here's what I learned. It is okay not to have the perfect words, because the words come after I've taken the action. And this is the thing I want you to remember. When you both prepare and take the action, you learn after taking lots and lots and lots of action that doesn't work. This is the hard truth that I learned from my other passive mentor, Brooke Castillo, that a lot of times we want things to work 100% of the time, and we get very disappointed when they don't work the first time. Most of the time, the thing that you try first is not going to work. It's going to continue to not work until you come upon what does. And then you can do that thing over and over again until you get it down into a system and a habit, or it stops working and you try something else. But the important part is to both prepare, to come up with a reasonable experiment for what you want to do, take the action, and then figure out whether it worked or not. There's a lot of work that's not going to work until it does. None of that stuff is wasted. None of that is not worth your time or a failure or any reflection of you. It means that you're learning along the way, and you have to learn by getting uncomfortable and making mistakes. So I'm just going to say it. I work with highly sensitive people because I can help you in any area of your life. If you feel stuck, if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel just kind of fine, but you know that things could be better, whether that's your health, your money, your relationships, your job, your home life, whatever it is, I can help you. I can help you make your life better, and I do that with all of my clients. The process for each client is the same. I have the coaching skills as a certified professional coach to be able to help anyone with any subject. The benefit that I have as a highly sensitive person, helping you as a highly sensitive person, is that I know exactly what kind of beliefs are going to come up for you, what challenges you're facing, and how to help you overcome them so that you know someone who gets you, is on your side, and can help you move to the other side. You can have that dream that you want, whether that's an ideal schedule, more money in the bank, better relationships, or just to feel better in your body and feel better about your day-to-day life. You can have all of that, and I can help you get there. If you would like to hear more, book a consultation call with me at stephanielinn.com. That's Linn, and I can help you. The consultation itself is extremely valuable because it gives you a ton of clarity about where you are and where you would like to go in very clear language. And then if you want to work together, we can talk about that at the end if it feels like a good fit. I want to help you, and I 100% believe in your dreams. I can see your potential as soon as we start to have a conversation, but the key is to help you believe in yourself and that you can do it too. And I can help you every single step of the way. Book your consultation call, and I would love to help you. There are 2 other ways that I would love to help you as well. Number 1 is my new suggestion box that I just introduced in my episode last week. If you have a question or a suggestion for a topic that you would like me to cover on the podcast, you can do that at stephanielinn.com/suggestion-box. And you can also find that under the freebies section. Just hover over the freebies at the top of the webpage and scroll down to podcast suggestion box. And then the third way that I can help you, if you want a sample of this and you want to see, does this really work? Can it work for me? Come on the podcast and I will coach you through a session that I will air so that you can help other highly sensitive people find solutions to the same problem. We will prepare everything in advance. It's not a live coaching session, so we'll make sure that it's super, super comfortable for you and you can get exactly the value you want before it goes on air, and I can help other highly sensitive people too. I believe in the power of coaching because I have seen it in myself. I've seen it in my clients. I have seen every single area of highly sensitive people's lives improve because of coaching. This is really powerful. It's transformational. And the thing about learning and changing your perspective on these things is that you get to have it for the rest of your life. This is not a one and done, and then you are still the same person at the end of the package. You're a new person who takes those new skills, those new insights, and those new learnings, and then is able to take action because you have evidence and you have proof that it works for you. I know that for especially highly sensitive people, we're hyper vigilant about the thoughts and opinions and judgments of others. And so it might feel a little bit scary to say that you are working with a coach and that you're getting help. I personally love working with my coaches, and I love to talk about it because I'm proud of the fact that I want to continue to learn and grow and that I'm always working on improving myself. I don't think it's shameful or embarrassing at all to work with someone to help me make my life better. That just means that I'm invested in myself, that I'm taking pride in myself and in my life, and that I'm seeking help from someone who has wisdom and an outside perspective that I simply don't have. I don't think it is embarrassing to be on a podcast episode. In fact, this could be one of the most empowering things that you do that also helps another highly sensitive person. If you're interested, go to stephanielinn.com/apply so that you can fill out an application to be on the podcast, and we can make sure it's a good fit before you ever take any steps. I want this to be a super comfortable process for you every single step of the way, and you can see what it's like to be coached by me and help someone else at the same time. It's a win-win-win. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Just as a recap, the formula for success is approximately 50% learning and preparation and 50% action that equals success. Wherever you are on that balance between learning and action, try to move the scales a little bit closer to even if you're on one side or the other. And the closer you get to even, the more likely you are to experience success on all of your goals, dreams, and visions. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening. If you're ready to take what you learned today to the next level, head over to StephanieLinn, that's LINN.com, and book a consultation call to get started. I can't wait to see you there, my dear HSP.